Your home team. Both teams have a record of 4-1 in World Series play. For Midlothian, Virginia, number 6, Mike Worldblock. Number 19, Kevin Moyer. Number 4, Chris Goodman. Number 18, Eric Miles. Number 12, Mike Tucci. Number 22, Andre Gardino. Number 5, Mark Miller. And number 17, Lee Coleman. Your starting lineup. Leading off, in right field, number 8, Kevin Lee. Batting second, number 11, doing the catching, Mark Chambers. Batting third, number 24, the right fielder, Greg Harding. Batting fourth, number 21, the first baseman, Mark Ronowitz. Batting fifth, number 15, the left fielder, Tony Moore. Batting sixth, number 10, the shortstop, Richard Barrett. Batting seventh, the second baseman, number 8, Tress Lipscomb. Batting eighth, number 2, the pitcher, Ricky Jarvis. Batting ninth, number 7, the third baseman, Jim White. Your coaches, David George and Dennis Moody. Your bat boy, Brad Chambers. And the manager, Maurice Beck. For Sacramento, California, number 24, Tony Cox. Number 7, Will Bear. Number 4, Jack Woodside. Number 18, Ron Martinelli. Number 16, Ryan Adamson. Number 11, Rob Kramer. Number 6, Jeff Nuxall. And number 9, Jerry Nielsen. Your starting lineup. Leading off, number 1, the shortstop, Clyde Killer. Batting second, number 3, the third baseman, Dave Ajax. Batting third, number 21, the center fielder, Bobby Jones. Batting fourth, number 8, the catcher, Mike Mucolino. Batting fifth, number 20, the right fielder, John Swartz. Batting sixth, number 12, the first baseman, Ned Height. Batting seventh, number 14, the left fielder, Derek Gross. Batting eighth, number 5, the second baseman, Joe Galitto. And batting ninth, and doing the pitching, number 19, Pat Gomez. Your coach, Todd Barsarte, and your manager, Mark Port.
Please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. California, I'd like to call Mr. Harold Hall to the microphone. Harold is the Region 8 National Representative. He'll be leading our players in the recitation of the Sportsmanship Code.
I will keep the rules, keep faith with my teammates, keep my temper, keep myself fit, keep a stout heart in defeat, keep my pride under in victory, keep a sound soul, a clean mind, and a healthy body. Good luck.
All right, thank you very much for being here tonight.
14 titles out of the last 59 tries have been won by California teams. And the last time a team went undefeated to win it was 1978 when Hialeah, Florida did it. And it will not happen this time because each of these two teams have defeated the other one time. Sacramento defeating Virginia 1-0 in a one-hitter, which was a heck of a ball game. And then an 8-4 game this afternoon with Virginia winning over Sacramento. Sacramento will be the home team. Virginia will be the visitors. And an interesting thing I think that you have for me, Paul Enix, about the Virginia team.
Yeah, Midlothian, they've won 4 games. All right, let's see. Let me make sure.
That's
here.
correct, 4-1.
Yeah, they've won 4 games. All 4 games they've won, Dick, they've been visitors. They've lost 1. The one they've lost, they were home team. So if Flex stays like it is, then they're in good shape. So they are visitors.
When I was getting ready to interview the coach after the victory this afternoon, a big cheer went up from the team in the dugout, and I didn't know what it was about. And it was about the flip, the fact that they had lost the flip, and they were going to be the visitors. So quite interesting, because their luck has been running in that vein. Let's see what happens. On the mound for Sacramento, Pat Gomez. Pat Gomez missed a turn here because he had the flu and became ill before he threw the first pitch, and then he pitched half a game, became ill again, but now he says, I am fine. So it's Pat Gomez on the mound, Mike Mussolino, the catcher for Sacramento. Around the infield, Dave Hajek, Clyde Killer, Joe Coletto, Ned Heights, and Kevin Lee steps in. Here's the first pitch. It's ball 1.
There's a mighty big hole in left center. Center fielder's playing in sort of right center there, and I don't know if they know something we don't, but a right-handed batter, you sure got a wide open shot between left center, and even down the left field line is pretty open, Dick.
Well, Kevin Lee stepping in. There's a called strike on the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-1. Bobby Jones out there in right center field can really fly, though. So he can cover a lot of territory, but if that ball is hit hard on the line drive, he'll never get there. And here's the second pitch inside, ball 2, as Pat Gomez, the left-hander, is on the mound for Sacramento. Pat was 14-0 coming into this tournament. I don't know now what his win and loss record is here, and there is a fly ball, and diving for it and missing the ball is John Schwartz in right field, and it is going to be a base hit. He made quite a try for that ball, and the leadoff man, Kevin Lee, gets the base hit, so there will be no hitter as far as Sacramento is concerned.
That's exactly right. He threw a breaking ball, and he just hit it where it was pitched, Dick, right where it was pitched.
John Schwartz made a real fine try, and Sacramento did know something about Kevin Lee going to right field.
Sure did, and that's exactly where he went. They had him played just right, but he was just a little bit shallow, and I think he lost a little bit of sight of the ball, Dick, it looked like.
Mark Chambers, the catcher, stepping in. Chambers hits one deep in the right field corner, and it curves foul off the wall. Chambers came into this afternoon's game batting .312, and in that game had 2 base hits, so that batting average has not dipped down at all.
It's a lot easier to go to the right field side with their left-hander coming in, Dick, and so I think that's what they're going to try to do. That fence is close, and with the right-handers up, they're going to try to hit that right field fence.
That right field wall is 270 feet. Of course, there's about a 30-foot fence there for it to go over, and Mark Chambers was shooting that direction that time. Paul has in front of him some of the batting statistics, not counting this afternoon's game, but up to that point. And this young man came in batting .312. The count is 1-1 on Mark Chambers. He has 6 RBIs in the regional and the World Series. Count is 1-1. Runner on first, nobody out. Gomez goes to first, and stepping back on the bag is Lee. Kevin Lee They're keeping him close. Here's Gomez with the look and the pitch. There's the bunt down the first base line. It's a good one. And the toss is in time. And the crowd from Virginia really not very happy about that. The first baseman throwing to the second baseman, 3-4 on the out. The sacrifice works. The runner, Mark Chambers, dove into the bag, and I tell you, that pitch was a little bit soft over there.
Yes, it was. I thought he would really throw it. He just kind of underhanded it and a lot closer than what he thought.
Could have been Disastersville for him. Stepping in now, Greg Harding. Harding, the right fielder for Midlothian, and hitting .351 coming into this afternoon's game. And let's just see what he did in that one. He had one base hit in this afternoon's ball game. There is a high fly ball drifting under it. John Schwartz couldn't see it. John lost the ball in the twilight here, but it's just a long foul ball. John would have had a chance to catch that one. He had time, but he just couldn't find the baseball. And he was looking. He looked into the infield twice for help. Nobody gave it to him.
Sure going to right field, I tell you, Dick, and I think it's a smart thing. That's the only bad thing about a right-hander here. The fence is not as far, and they're going to time that curveball, and they're going to swing a little late, and it's a chance, you know.
So the left-hander on the mound fires. There's a swing and a miss, and that was a high, hard one. That ball really came in there. Gomez does have some heat. He has been ill. He was ill in his first start, did not get to start the game, and then became ill and had to leave the game that he did start. There is a foul ball, and again, it goes to right field. The count remains 0-2. There's one out, a runner on second base.
Well, they may feel like they're swinging late at the fastball, but they're not, because that's exactly what they're trying to do, right?
They're timing it. On second base, Kevin Lee, the leadoff batter, who got the first hit of the game. The championship, the 15th game and final game. Here's a curveball, and it misses just a bit, and it is ball one and strike two. Greg Hart back up the middle, and the shortstop picks it off, fires to first base, throws the ball away. A run is going to score. And coming in, standing up, is Kevin Lee, as picking that ball up out there was Clyde Keller. Now, in this afternoon's game, there were 3 errors on the shortstop, but Keller was pitching at that time, and it's a hit and an error, so they're going to give Greg Harding a hit and an error on the shortstop.
That one run, Dick, could mean a lot, because once you get the momentum going, you get the lead. It does make a difference, and so that's important to them.
It really is. So on first base is Greg Harding. There's only one away. Here's the pitch to Ronowitz, and this young man can slug the ball. Ronowitz this afternoon, take a quick look. He came in batting .294 and had 12 RBIs. Did not get a hit today. He was on, yes, he did. One hit this afternoon, a single. There's a ball low.
Even though he didn't get a hit, he figured in a lot of their action and what went on. He's just a super ball player, probably a
great first baseman.
Oh, I tell you, and what he does, he thinks a lot. He's always there. He's doing the right things.
The count is ball two on Ronowitz, and Gomez steps off. The runner gets back. Ronowitz back in the box. Gomez looks at the runner and throws to first base, and he's back easily. So it's 2 balls and no strikes, 1 man out, 1 run in here in the first half inning of play, and Virginia has taken the lead. I think you'll find a statistic about the first team to get ahead. Here is a foul tip, and it is strike 1. You might look that one up from the World Series Bulletin. Let you take a look and find that one, but it's kind of interesting.
The first team that scores in tonight's game will have the advantage. It says 38 times in previous championship games the team that has scored first held on to win, so
that's 38 out of 59, so that's the majority.
21
by a long margin. So the count goes to 3 balls and 1 strike. as that one misses.
It's a good feeling, Dick, to go out on the mound in the bottom of the first inning with the lead if you're throwing the ball, I'll tell you.
Yes, sir. Here's a throw to first base, and standing on the bag is Greg Harding. Harding with a single, Kevin Lee with a single. And Ronowitz steps back in. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. And that was a super curveball. Just a great curveball by Pat Gomez. So Gomez steps back up. Ronowitz steps back in. And leading off first base is Greg Harding. Virginia at bat. There's the ball hit to the shortstop. That's a good hop. Over to second. One. And to first, a double play. And Sacramento gets out of the inning 6-4-3. The score at the end of 1/2 inning of play has Virginia leading Sacramento. In the inning, there was 1 run on 2 hits and 1 error. On the mound for Midlothian, Virginia, a right-hander, Ricky Jarvis. Mark Chambers, the catcher, around the infield from third to first. At third base, Jim White. At short, it's Richard Barrett. At second base, Tris Lipscomb. And at first base, Mark Ronowitz. And you might pull out those stats on Tris Lipscomb over here, Paul. In the left field will be Tony Moore. In center field, it will be Kevin Lee. And in right field, Greg Harding. And no, I mean Lipscomb, there's something about him over here in the World Series bulletin.
Well, Lipscomb, he today tied a World Series record with 3 pitching victories when he won this afternoon in the game, and he shares the record with 4 other fellows from the past, but he won't get a chance for 4th victory, Dick, because he can only pitch 12 innings or he can only appear in 3 games, so it's a rule, and so he's done, and so if they need him tonight, they're in trouble, but he's done his job. My lands, he's won 4 games in this series, and just, you know, what can you say?
What a great job he does at second base, and he just walks in and gets on the pitching mound, throws 5 pitches, and he's ready to go. Clyde Keller steps in. Here's the first pitch by Ricky Jarvis, and you were starting to tell me about the record of Jarvis here coming in.
Yeah, he's pitched 15 in 1/3 innings. He's given up 15 hits. He's given up 7 runs, only 5 earned runs, though, Dick. 13 walks, struck out 9. He has an 0-1 record, but a 2.94 earned run average, and that's a good earned run average. And I noticed he's got a lot of breaking stuff, so he's gonna have a lot of variety of pitches, and I think that's the thing that will help him more than anything else. You can't throw fastballs against this Sacramento club or you're in trouble, and he's got a good variety of pitches.
And the count is 2-2, and the catcher has been hit one more time. Mark Chambers has this poor lad. He got stung by a bee, then he got hit on the bone right up on the shoulder yesterday, and now he has gotten, I think it was, I'm not sure which shoulder it was, and now he's been hit on that shoulder one more time. So it was so sore, and then the foul ball right off of that shoulder, so they're putting some of that freezing compound on there to try to kill the pain. And the poor lad has really taken a couple of shots here, but what a job he's done behind the plate.
He sure has, and you know, when you catch this many games in a tournament, Dick, you're going to get hurt because, you know, how can you go and not have some foul tips and not have some problems? So poor kid, I'll guarantee you, though, he'll be in there. You know, it's not going to bring him out because he's got determination, desire. These guys are super ball players, and it's not easy to catch that many games, and he's done a lot of it.
Game 5 in this particular tournament, and you know, they're still working on him up there. Looks like he might even have a pad up on that, and he got caught on it. He's still hurting. He is still hurting. So it looks like a doctor has slipped out there to take a look at him, and he's putting pressure on it, and the kid says, "Oh, that hurts." And that's his throwing arm too. So stung on the neck by a bee, and then he gets clobbered on that bone right on top of the shoulder, and then he gets hit on it a second time. Well, that's quite a shame.
Another stat that's really important that I was reading, if Midlothian would come back and win this championship game, Dick, it'd be the 5th time since 1960 that a team has come back and won 2 games in a row after coming out of the loser's bracket. So Boy,
I believe Guaynabo, Puerto Rico did that last year.
They sure did. I was reading here, they came back 5-2 and 7-6 last year and did it. So it can be done, but only 5 times since 1960, so 25 years.
Well, that's quite a statistic. I'll tell you what, lucky there. Mark Chambers is going to put the gear back on.
There was no doubt about that.
He's going to stay in there.
There was no doubt about that. It just
starts to give him a hand.
Player. And he wants to play worse than anything. And if he has to crip, he'll still do it.
Okay, so Chambers putting that arm up over his head, and young man who had come out to warm up to keep the pitcher warm. They're going to let him throw a couple. Oh, he didn't throw that one very well. And he says, I'm all right. Go ahead. I'm okay. Well, they may test that arm if they get a runner on first base, Paul. And I know that I probably would. And whoops, the second baseman wasn't ready. And there's a arching throw down there. He threw it down there kind of tentatively, but
he won't go down there like that if they steal.
No, I was going to say, somebody starts to run, he'll forget the soreness and throw it hard.
Real quick.
Well, it's still hurting. There's no doubt about that. The count is now 2-2 on Clyde Keller. So Keller committed an error in that first inning, and a run scored. Virginia in the lead. And the count 2-2. There is called strike 3, and Ricky Jarvis just reared back and put the heat on that one, and Keller's down.
Yeah, I think he was looking for a breaking ball. He was set for a breaking ball 2-2. That's his best pitch, really. So
that's what we've been seeing the whole tournament, is a breaking ball on that
and
pitch.
Even with 2-2, they've still been throwing it because that's their bread and butter. But my, what a fastball!
Dave Hayek, the third baseman. There's a foul tip, and that was a foul ball. That was a curve ball. He broke that one off very, very well. So Ricky Jarvis hanging in there, one man out.
I noticed with Rick Jarvis here, the curveball comes with the same motion as fastball comes with, Dick, and that's what makes it effective too. I mean, he does not. You can't tell by his motion whether he's throwing the fastball or the curve, and that makes him tough.
Here's the pitch, and there is a high fly ball, but it's going to stay in the ballpark, and the center fielder getting under it and pulling it down is Kevin Lee. And Kevin had to go a long, long way to get that one. So there are 2 away in the inning for Sacramento, and that brings up Bobby Jones. Bobby Jones came in hitting 500 into the game this afternoon. No, 481, I believe, in the game this afternoon. 484. Well, we were close. He was 500 before the game before this afternoon's game.
13 RBIs and scored 16 runs. So
there's ball 1. Well, the young man can hit the ball. There's no doubt about that.
There is no doubt about it. And I tell you, the fastball is what he threw this last fella, and he poked the ball. So he's going to throw a lot of breaking stuff.
And that's what he threw right there for the called strike. So the count is 1-1 on Bobby Jones. Bobby covers a lot of territory out in center field. Big crowd here tonight. Big crowd outside the fence. And since there's kind of a hill, there's a curveball, strike 2. Since there's kind of a hill behind the right field line, it's kind of hard to keep the people from viewing the game for nothing.
Yeah, they ought to sell popcorn out in right field. Outside, there's a whole group of them out there.
There's a curveball. That's high. There are two houses with decks built out behind the house, and those are loaded tonight. Big crowd of people and lawn chairs and what have you looking over the fence. There's an outside pitch. The count goes full on Bobby Jones. 2 away, nobody on.
I ought to really be careful here, because if he throws one down the middle, Jones will jump on it, Dick.
He surely will, and he needs to get this one over or lose him. And there is a pop-up. The shortstop backing up. Richard Barrett gets under the ball, and he flies out to the shortstop.
You can see what kind of confidence he's got in his curveball. He threw a curveball with 3 and 2. And he thought the fastball, and he popped it up, Dick.
So, in the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. The score at the end of 1 full inning of play, Midlothian, Virginia 1, Sacramento, California, nothing. The first batter coming out for Midlothian, Virginia, will be Tony Moore. Now, Tony was a pitcher in this afternoon's game, and he was really instrumental. We interviewed him after the game, really instrumental in getting the job done here today. He was pumped up. There was no doubt about that.
I think if there would be a most valuable player, Dick, he'd have to be the one, because he just hit the ball, pitched the ball, everything he did was well, and I think he was the key to today's win.
And it's real funny, the pitchers that have had Lipscomb come in behind them, each of them had said, when I was interviewing them, we knew that Triss was behind us. Triss is not behind them tonight because he's not going to be allowed to pitch. He's got his 12 innings in.
That's true, and it may make a difference, too.
There's a strike one on Tony Moore. Here's the pitch from Gomez. It's a little high, and Moore holds up. So the count goes to 1-1. In the top of the second inning, Virginia getting their leadoff batter on a base hit, and he got in for the run. The next pitch, strike right down the middle that time, as Pat Gomez just leaned back and let her fly. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. Gomez says yes, and here's the pitch inside, and it's 2-2. Tony Moore, he was keyed up this afternoon. Pat Gomez, there's the left hand of the infield, the left-hand side, and Gomez in the windup, and the pitch, swing and a miss. And Tony Moore strikes out for out number 2. Out number 1. Well, you know what I did? I put it in the wrong column. Put it in the wrong column. Okay, out number 1. There we go. Thank you, Paul. I'll just mark that out. My eraser's gone, so I'm going to... I've made so many mistakes on my book. You don't believe that, do you?
I do believe that.
Oh, okay. Coming up, Richard Barrett, the shortstop. Swing and a miss. And Gomez is rolling along. Pat Gomez.
He got some important hits today.
Oh, Barrett's a good little ball player. Here's a swing and a miss. And Gomez putting some heat on the ball right now.
Yes, that's as fast as I've seen him throw the ball yet. Looks different than the first inning.
There's a good shot of Barrett, and we flip out to that center field camera, and the pitch. Swing and a miss, and 3 straight pitches, and Richard Barrett goes down by way of the strikeout. That brings up Triss Lipscomb. 3 wins, and a great job of coming from second base to give this team 3 of its 4 victories.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know why, but after a strikeout with nobody on, they do not throw the ball around the infield, and I don't know why. I've noticed that today. I was going to mention that.
Well, maybe they just want to get the game on. Don't want to break that pitcher's rhythm. That's ball 1 as he throws it inside. But most coaches say, throw that ball around. But you're right, they don't. They just throw it back to the pitcher. Good shot of Lipscomb, and now the pitch. It's a called strike, and that one popped all the way up here. We could hear that one for sure. Good crowd here tonight. The final game of the American Legion World Series in Kokomo, Indiana, the city of first. There's a ball fouled off down the third base line, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes on Triss Lipscomb. Ball 1, strike 2. Lipscomb steps back in. Pat Gomez looks into Mike Mussolino, and here's the pitch, and there is a foul ball out of play. So Lipscomb reaches out and gets a piece of that one. Virginia has taken an early lead, 1-0 here. And they're batting in the top of the second inning. 39-5 their record. There's a ball low. The count evens up at 2-2. And Sacramento, Carmichael Elks of Sacramento, have a record of 40-5. Here's the pitch, a curveball, and it's a little bit high, and we go to a full count on Triss Lipscomb. Big number 19 on the back of Pat Gomez as he stands up on the mound, gets the sign from Mussolino, and here it is. It's a call, strike 3, and he strikes out the side. No runs, no hits, no errors, and the score at the end of 1.5 innings of play, Virginia 1, Sacramento, California, nothing. Bottom half of the second inning, Sacramento trying to get back into this ball game, and the first batter will be the leading hitter on the team, Mike Mussolino, the catcher, followed by John Schwartz, and then the first baseman, Ned Heights. Mussolino came in batting .514 in this afternoon's game, and let's see what he did in that particular game. Mike did not have a hit this afternoon. John Schwartz, the man coming up after him, had 1 hit, and Ned Heights hit a towering home run and had a single. So those are the 3 men that will be the first 3 to face Ricky Jarvis. Around the infield, it's Jim White at third, Richard Barrett at short, Chris Lipscomb at second, Mark Runowitz at first, Tony Moore in left field, Kevin Lee in center, and Greg Harding in right field, and Ricky Jarvis, the pitcher, for Midlothian Post 186 in Virginia. Here's the first pitch called strike 1 on Mike Mussolino. This is, well, he's one of the best hitters in this tournament at .514. Here's the pitch. It's outside and high. The count goes to 1-1. Ricky Jarvis, I think, thought maybe he might have had that pitch, but he didn't get it. And there you see Mussolino stepping in. And the pitch, there is a high fly ball going foul, and getting over under it and not getting it was the third baseman, Jim White, as White just couldn't find it up there. That ball got up high and curved around, and Jim really had a play on that ball, but he didn't play it well. He let it get behind him.
Yeah, I think he just lost it, and then when he found it back, it was too late to get to it, Dick.
I've seen several of the players catch the ball like that behind them on the left side for some reason. Of course, he's playing in a lot closer at third base than is the first baseman. There's the ball getting away, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes on Mike Mussolino. Ricky Jarvis, tall, lanky right-hander for Midlothian, Virginia. And Mussolino back in there, the left-hander looking right at that pitcher, and he pops another one foul. And that one is out of play and into the front row of the stands, right over the fence. Coming back to pick up the mask and helmet is Mark Chambers. So Mussolino hanging tough against Ricky Jarvis here in the second inning. Our scoreboard went out for a second there, but it popped right back on. I don't know why we lost power, but we did. So Mussolino is ready to go. Here's the pitch. There is a hard hit ball, a base hit, just past the outstretched arms of the second baseman. So Mussolino continues his torrid hitting.
I don't know if you realize or not, Dick, but he has not had a hit today.
Number 20, right fielder.
I thought he had 1 hit this afternoon. Let me. Are you sure? Well, let's have a look. I'm going to check it. I thought I saw. You're right. Mike Mussolino did not get a hit. It was John Schwartz, the next man up, that got a hit. Oh, Paul, I tell you, you've got these stats down so good in that mind.
Yeah, it really is.
Like a steel trap.
Yes, it is.
That's gone off.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. John Schwartz steps in there, and the throw back to first base. Would I kid you?
Well, he may be bunting here. They may get the sacrifice down. I don't know. It's a big hitter up Schwartz, but they got to play the tie before they can win it, Dick.
That's right. And the pitch. And here is a drive down the right field line. The ball is curving and is foul ball. And it's one of those, again, that hit in the skinned part of the foul line, but hit outside the white.
I'll tell you one thing. The umpire was on the ball. I mean, he was right there, right beside the ball. So he knew he was right there on top of it.
Yes, sir. Right down that foul line. So it's just a long strike by John Schwartz. Ned Heights, the next guy up, hit a home run today. in the 6th inning. So it is strike one. And Schwartz wasn't bunting that time for sure. Here's the throw over to first base, and back in there is Mike Mussolino. Got a nice hit just out of the reach of Chris Lipscomb moments ago. You see him leading off. Jarvis looks, and that is outside. Lipscomb was looking at Mussolino starting to come off. He turned and looked at him as though, you're surely not going to try to run here. And throw quickly back from Mark Chambers to the pitcher. And of course, Mussolino was not running. There's a throw back over to first base. Ricky Jarvis pitching for Midlothian, Virginia. And Sacramento, California at bat. Here is a foul ball. Hit and run was on. And John Schwartz did his job. He reached out and hit the ball. It did go foul, though. And, of course, he was trying to hit behind that runner, too, if at all possible, taking it to right field. The right fielders have had a lot of work. And the right side of the infield has been very busy in this tournament. That short right field fence makes them want to go for it. There's a breaking ball. He popped it up and hit it pretty well, actually, in getting under it for the catch, Greg Harding. So Schwartz fouls out to the right fielder. That's one away.
It's a good feeling, Dick, to think that 1 month ago, 3,800 teams started out this tournament, and here we are with 2 left.
Down to 2. You know, win or lose, to get here is really something, really something. No losers, but somebody's going to go home feeling pretty bad tonight. At bat, Ned Heights. Here's the ball getting away, but the runner, Mussolino, had started back to first base, so that's ball 1. Ned Heights the batter. Here's a feisty little guy, the first baseman for Sacramento. Ned Heights. This is the 6th game for these two teams, as they are both 4-1 in this tournament. So one team is going to lose tonight. The other one will be the world champion of American Legion Baseball. And the pitch swing and a miss. And that pitch was up, but getting under it was Ned Heights. Well, he can park it. He can put it out of here. There's no doubt about that. The kid has enough power. The count remains 1-1 as Ricky Jarvis looks into Mark Chambers, gets the sign. And here's a pitch out, and they've got him in a rundown. He throws to second, and it's a bad throw. It's a bad throw, and Mussolino gets back to first base. They had him caught on the pitch out.
The only thing, he should have ran right straight towards him, Dick. If he'd have kept running towards him, then he would have been dead. And before he could get to him, he fired the throw to second. When he did, they dropped it and back to first. So he should have he should have ran right straight towards him, and he'd have had him.
And remember, that arm may still be bothering him because he got a shot on it earlier. There's a breaking ball, and it is ball 3. Now, having seen that throw, it may well be Sacramento may try to run on Mark Chambers.
I really think he'll go this pitch. It's a good pitch to go. He's got to come in with it. If it's not there, then it's ball 4 anyhow, Dick. So I think he'll probably run right here.
And there he goes. And there is a foul ball curving out of play. And the count goes full. And he was on his way for sure.
Same thing again, I feel like, because he knows they've got to groove the ball to him. So he'll be running again, I'm sure, even if one out.
Of course, a swinging miss and a strikeout and a good chance for the double play.
That's exactly right.
So you've got to be careful when you're behind.
Chance you got to take, though, you know, and especially maybe his arm is bothering him.
And it is early, too. So he might chance it now where he might not later. So Ned Heights steps back in, the count full. Ricky Jarvis on the mound. And here's the pitch, and he did not go. There's a high fly ball, and it could drop in there. Second baseman's going out, and the center fielder, Lee, just reached out and pulled it down, and that was a daring catch, I've got to tell you. And hello, Brian. Here he is. So you finally made it. Okay, grab a chair back there and pull yourself up. We'll give you a little room. And I got to tell you, these umpires have done a fine job in this tournament, and you being an aspiring umpire, they're just right on every call. So there's 2 away as Heights flies out to center field. That brings up Derek Gross. Here's another lad that can put it over the fence, and there is a drive, and it is way back. And it is caught in a fantastic pitch by Tony Moore out in left field. Tony Moore going back and saving the run for sure as he pulled that one down, going away from the infield. And that is out number 3 in the inning. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left on, no errors. The score at the end of 2 full innings of play. Midlothian, Virginia 1, Sacramento, California, nothing. Okay, here we go. Top of the 3rd inning, Virginia coming to bat. They lead it 1-0. It will be Ricky Jarvis, the pitcher, followed by Jim White. And White was a fine hitter in this game this afternoon, the number 9 hitter. And then it will be Kevin Lee, who started the game with a single and scored in the 1st inning.
This little White kid, boy, I tell you, I don't know what he'd done before, but today he just smashed the ball. 2 singles when it was really important. It was the most important part. Not a big hitter.
Well, he was hitting 142, but
you never know it.
Oh, in this afternoon's game, he had a single in the 7th, a single in the 8th, and he scored both times.
Pitcher's up first.
Okay, Ricky Jarvis coming up, the pitcher for Midlothian, Virginia, his first time at bat. We don't have a batting average on Jarvis, but he's a competitor. There's no doubt about that. So Ricky Jarvis stepping in, Pat Gomez on the mound. He fires, and it's a called strike 1. Well, Brian, you umpire a lot of Legion ball, and as well as Connie Mack and Babe Ruth. The pitchers you've seen here, how do they compare?
Well, the pitchers I've seen here at the tournament are excellent. They've all got good control. They've all got good off-speed pitches, and they've got a good fastball. That's what it takes at this level.
So it is a call strike 2 on the curveball. And here's the pitch. A little bit low, so Jarvis holds off. It's 1-2. First man up for Virginia, top of the 3rd inning. 39-5, the record of Virginia. 40-5, the record of Sacramento. Couldn't have any 2 more evenly matched teams come into this final game. Both of them with 1 loss, and each of them defeated by the other team. So that makes it even better. Here is a foul ball hit down the right field line, and the count remains even as Ricky Jarvis reached out for that one. So it is ball 2, strike 2. And there is a drive. It is way back, and going back is Derek Gross, and he caught the ball. Derek Gross, and what a fantastic pitch. The crowd going wild. Ricky Jarvis pounded it, and that just looked just like the catch that Tony Moore made, maybe a little more spectacular.
Yeah, what a catch. And I'll tell you, I'm impressed, and Brian will see this more than I would. The umpire was almost there. Fantastic.
The umpire was all the way in center field. He almost beat the ball out there, and that's real good officiating.
Well, these fellows have done a good job. 2 of them from Indiana, 1 from Ohio, 1 from Missouri, and 1 from Iowa, I believe, in this tournament. Of course, the one from Highland, Indiana, came down with a bad back, and so he hasn't been in it since the 2nd day. But we just had great umpiring and really very few rhubarbs of any size at all. There's a ball and a foul ball. The count goes to 1-1 on Kevin Lee. And Kevin up there pitched this afternoon, took the loss after having beaten the team from Sacramento 1-0 on a 1-hitter earlier in the tournament. 12 hits against him today, but he's a battler, and he's back at shortstop, strike 2 called. And Pat Gomez whopped it in there. If you know, our cameraman, maybe the cameraman atop the bleachers, as we talk to our director down here, might be able to get us, if he has a close-up lens, and I'm not sure if he does, the roofs of those 2 garages over the right field wall, so we could maybe see what those signs say. And there's a swing and a miss, and Kevin Lee strikes out. And right behind us is our owner, director, what have you, Jim Gregg. Do we have a close-up lens on that camera up on the bleachers?
Well, it's as close as what you've been seeing.
There we go. Okay. Our three favorite teams are Virginia, Sacramento, and well, I'm trying to see what that says. Something about and whoever plays Purdue. Okay. Now there's another one I think that just on the other garage, and we'll get a look at it in a moment here.
White just struck out, not me.
Okay. Oh, it was James White. You're right. I'm sorry. And this one says Carmichael Elks, and can't read the numbers there. Okay. Well, it was James White that struck out. There's another mistake I made, but. It is Kevin Lee that's up there right now. Okay. I just looked up at the top of the scorebook instead of where I should have been. So it is ball one. I've got just enough eraser left to correct that mistake and see nobody will ever know if they don't see this tape.
And I'll tell everybody.
I was afraid of that. The count is ball one. There are two outs. Swing and a miss. And the count is 1-1. You're supposed to correct me when I make a mistake like that.
Well, that's what I just did.
Yeah, but after it was all over with.
You were excited about the sign-up.
Well. Okay. Dick Stewart along with Paul Enix. He's the one giving me the hard time. And my son, Brian Stewart, the umpire. There's a call, strike two. Third inning. Virginia at bat with a 1-0 lead over Sacramento, the championship game. Swing and a miss. And the count goes to 2-2. Kevin Lee had a single in the first inning and scored. Came in on an error on the shortstop. There is a ball hit down to the third baseman. It's Hayjack across the infield. Pulled him off the bag, and Ned Heights can't hang on. So that's an error on the third baseman. That's the second error in this ball game for Sacramento. They had about, I know, three. Let's see if I can pick them up here from this afternoon's game. As we take a look at it, they had 4 or 5 errors in this afternoon's game. So not typical of the play of Carmichael Elks of Sacramento. So a runner on first, 2 men away, and Mark Chambers steps up. He bounced out on a bunt to the first baseman, almost made it as he dove into first base. On a throw from the first baseman to the second baseman at first, it was more of a little lob than a throw, and Chambers almost beat it. So here's the runner on the bag, ready to lead off. That's the pitch way outside. And it's ball one. Okay. It is ball one. Gomez steps off the mound. Runner gets back. Kevin Lee leading off. In the inning, we'll go back and recap. Ricky Jarvis, the pitcher, flew out to left field, and then Jim White struck out. There's a swing and a miss, and the count goes to 1-1 on Mark Chambers.
I think those people out there at the garage might be Indiana fans, Dick.
I wouldn't be at all surprised that they might well be the fans of the Cream and Crimson of Indiana and the Hurrying Hoosiers of Indiana, the basketball team. And now stepping out of there is Mark Chambers. Poor Mark. This kid stung by a bee, hit on the shoulder again, the same shoulder that was already bruised, and he's had a rough series. 1 ball, 1 strike, and the pitch. That one's in the dirt. And it sounded to me like I'm not sure whether Chambers yelled go or no. Okay, the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 men out. Runner on first. Mark Chambers stepping in. Pat Gomez on the mound. Looks at the runner and fires. It's inside, and he is stealing, and he just slides into the tag, and Kevin Lee was out easy. And I'll just tell you what, Mike Mussolino's, you know, and I said a while ago, Mike Mussolino, Mark Chambers, the catcher, just showed us that even though the arm is sore, he can still throw.
Well, that's right, and that was Mussolino there, and he threw the ball good too. But they just, both of them, just super.
Ricky Jarvis on the mound, Mark Chambers behind the plate. And the first batter for Sacramento will be Joe Colito. Joe Colito. Joe, the second baseman, a feisty little guy, and a little conference going on out on the mound as the ball got away. Let's see what Joe Colito did this afternoon. Had a big hit in the 6th inning and scored in that 6th inning. He was 1 for 4, was Joe Colito. So Virginia hanging in there tough. Sacramento lost this afternoon to them 8-4. They defeated Midlothian. Sacramento did earlier in the tournament 1-0 on a one-hitter by their shortstop, who was then pitching. He's the shortstop tonight. And there's ball 1 to Joe Colito. And so it's only appropriate that these two teams who defeated each other are in the championship game. There's ball 2. Two balls, no strikes. There's a called strike as that one popped right in there, and you could hear it pop way up here as Mark Chambers knows how to catch that ball and make it pop, Paul. But the ball was a hard-thrown pitch. Good shot now, Joe Colito, left-hander, stepping in there. There's a hard-hit ball to center field. Going back is Kevin Lee. He gets under it and pulls it down. So Colito flies out to center field for the first out. Brings up the pitcher, Pat Gomez.
I was just getting ready to say how they must know more than I do, because the right-handed batters are playing them in right field. Left-handed batters are playing them dead center, and that's exactly where he hit the ball, is dead center. So I don't know. They're not pulling the ball, and they're placing it the opposite direction. You can see again right here, left-handed batters playing them straight on, and you normally play, you know, to right center maybe a little bit, but
there's a base hit right up the middle by Pat Gomez, and he put it right up the middle, and picking it up on one hop was the center fielder Kevin Lee. So it just, maybe they know the speed of their pitcher, Paul. Maybe that's it. Who knows? Or they know how the pitcher is going to pitch the man, and that's important in placing your man out. You know, or maybe they're just lucky. It'll be Clyde Keller, the shortstop, stepping up. Pitched a complete game in that game this afternoon, but lost it 8-4. Pitched a complete game in the other game and had a one-hitter and one hit, 1-0.
I can just almost guarantee you this game won't be 1-0, because when they go around one time, he has no strikeouts yet, I don't believe, does he?
No, he does not.
And this team from Sacramento just hits the ball. You know, I don't think it's going to be 1-0.
But there's a called strike on Clyde Keller, so it is strike 1, no balls. Runner on first, 1 out, and the pitch. Swing and a miss at a pitch that was way outside, and Brian said that was very close to a balk. What did he do?
Well, what he did was he turned his head towards first base, which is fine. He's allowed to move his head any direction, but if he moves his shoulder, once he's come to the set position, that's a balk.
There's a pitch outside, and it is a 1-2 count. So Brian will watch the technicalities of the game, and here's a throw to first base and tell us about him. There's a good shot of the runner standing right on the bag. Pat Gomez, the pitcher. Back out to Ricky Jarvis. Mark Chambers down, giving the signals. There's a throw to first. Now, Chambers stood up on that throw. He stood up before the throw actually was made. That might be a tip-off. Yeah, Brian.
I heard the center fielder yell in something. He must have seen something before the pitch.
There's a breaking ball down to the third baseman. Takes a high hop. That's probably going to be a hit as Clyde Keller Goes in. So, a base hit by Keller. That puts runners on first and second and one out. As the ball, we've seen a couple of those down that third baseline, whether it hits the edge of the grass or what, but that ball just went straight up over his shoulder, and Jim White really didn't have a chance. Had he caught that one, that would have been a fantastic play. Brings in Dave Hajak, and Hajak just really a feisty ball player. Flew out to center fielder the first time. There's one away, runners on first and second for Sacramento, and so they're threatening here in the bottom half of the third inning. And there's a foul ball out of play as Hajek has a 1-1 count on him. There's a shot of the field and back to the pitcher from center field camera. And a breaking ball, a high fly ball deep into left field. Tony Moore going back, and he hauls it in. And he was way out there. So Dave Hajek got a piece of it, but got under it just a little bit too much. And another catch by Tony Moore, and there are two away with runners at first and second. And stepping up is Bobby Jones. And you know, Bobby Jones is just about ready to explode.
He's really due. In fact, they've got somebody in the bullpen, right? Well, they have somebody in the bullpen, I think, getting ready because he's not fooling anybody, Dick. He's throwing pitches, but he's not fooling anybody. They're hitting the ball, and they're going to get to him, I'm afraid. So they've got somebody getting ready to go down there, and they better have him ready.
2 hits in this inning. They'd had one up to that point. So here's a throw to second base, and getting back just in time was Pat Gomez, and Richard Barrett just about had him back there as Ricky Jarvis made the throw. Runners on first and second. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, curve, strike one. So Bobby Jones has had a little problem with the curveball, and that's probably all he's going to see, because if he gets a fastball in there, look out. Here's the pitch, breaking ball outside. The count evens up, the ball gets away. Here's a throw to third, and they've got in. A beautiful throw as the ball got away, but not far enough. Pat Gomez tried to go to third base, and he is picked off for the third out of the inning, and that means Bobby Jones will be the first batter in the fourth inning of play. So in the inning, no runs on 2 hits, no errors, nobody left on base, and the score after 3 full innings of play is Virginia 1, Sacramento nothing.
Really, national exposure. Don't forget my name.
I'm tired of preaching.
Number 11, the catcher, Mark Chambers.
Top of the fourth inning as Mark Chambers will come to bat for Virginia. He was at bat in the last inning when a man was thrown out trying to steal as Mike Mussolino fired the ball to second base.
Midlothian's got Mark Miller in the bullpen warming up, and I think they're going to keep him ready, Dick, in case.
Just in case. There's the first pitch, and it's a called strike on Chambers. Here's the pitch from Gomez, outside and high, ball one. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. Top of the fourth inning. It's a 1-0 ball game. Paul predicts it will not stay that way. We'll see. Swing and a miss as Chambers reached for that outside pitch. Looked like a changeup. The left-hander. If he breaks that ball away from the right-handed batter, it will be a slider. Is that correct, Brian? The curveball would be coming into him from the left-hander, I believe.
Now they got Ronald Coleman in the bullpen, too, so they're going to have 2 men ready, Dick, at all times tonight.
Well, it's now or never. This is the final game. There's a ball inside. The count goes to 2-2 on Mark Chambers as Pat Gomez has no one working in his bullpen. Gomez looks in, gets the sign, and the pitch, foul ball, back up against the screen. He looks like who, Brian?
He looks to me like Lynn Barker with a high leg kick and then kind of a delay at the top of it.
So it is a 2-2 count. Mark Chambers the batter, Pat Gomez the pitcher, Mike Mussolino the catcher, and it's full. 3-2. The second batter in the lineup for Virginia, the number one batter here in the fourth inning, Mark Chambers, has Greg Harding and Mark Ronowitz behind him. There's a long drive. It's going to be taken on the hop in left field, and a base hit for Mark Chambers. So that is hit number 3 for Virginia, as they got 2 in the first inning and scored 1 run. So the leadoff man for Virginia is on here in the third inning. This team is just really fired up, Paul.
This part of their lineup is really strong. They're batting 340, 350, 320. These 3 men right in a row. Chambers, and this is Harding, and then first baseman Ronowitz. They're all batting high, and this is where it's at right here. This is the part that's got to go for them. If it goes, they're going to win this ball game.
The meat of the order. There's a foul ball, strike 1. Just to the right of the light pole out in right center field is a huge maple tree. And we saw, and I think it was Ronowitz, hit one out of here that was maybe 15 feet from the top of that tree when it hit the tree. There's the pitch. It's down low, and it's ball 1 and strike 1. 1-1 to Greg Harding. Pat Gomez looks the runner back and fires. There's a high fly ball. Left fielder coming in, shortstop going out. Shortstop Clyde Keller calls for it and pulls it down, and there's 1 away. That brings up Mark Ronowitz, and what a fine athlete he is. He's going to be playing football in college at Auburn on a full ride, and I asked him, I said, "You're playing football?" He says, "Yeah, but I'm going to play baseball too, or I'm going to try." Well, I don't think there's any doubt but what the young man will be playing baseball too. So Ronowitz steps in. He's due. He's a big, strong kid. Here's the pitch, swing, and a miss.
He had the runner first going back. He thought he was coming to him. He was on his way back when he pitched that ball.
So Gomez faked the runner out at first base and came to the plate. Pat Gomez, battery mate Mike Mussolino. There's a ball inside.
He had 2 home runs the first game against Guanabo and had 5 RBIs. Ronowitz did, so you know what kind of ball player he is.
From left to right in the infield, Hayjack, Keller, Calito, and Heights. In the outfield, Gross, Jones, and Schwartz. Left to right. And the pitch, it's a breaking ball outside, and he holds up. The count is 2-1. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out, and 1 man on. Top of the fourth inning, Virginia at bat, and the wind is not blowing at all. Perfectly still out here on a beautiful Labor Day evening. Throw to first. Runner standing on the bag. A beautiful shot from our right field camera down that third base line. And or first base line, I should say. Here's a swing, and that was a foul tip. That ball is in center field, but that was a foul ball, I believe.
It's caught by the catcher.
Oh, it was caught by the catcher. Okay, so he can steal, and he did steal. So a stolen base for Chambers, and the count goes to 2-2.
First stolen base out of 4 tries, so that's time.
Mike Mussolino got it down there, but it went on by. I heard it hit, but I didn't realize the catcher had caught it. Had it bounced down in the dirt and he picked it up, that would have been just a foul ball. But it was a foul tip, and he caught it. And the runner can advance at his own risk. There's a pitch outside. The count goes full.
I really think it was a hit and run because it wasn't a good pitch, and he swung at it. So I think it's a hit and run, even though he did get the steal.
So a runner at second base, 1 man out, and Mark Ronowitz trying to bring that runner in from second, and he's got the power to do it as Pat Gomez looks and fires. Strike. Swung right through it, as he just really had the steam on that one. Threw it right through the bat. I'll bet Ronowitz goes back and looks to see where the hole is.
Here's more, though. You just face one and come into another one, so you know what he can do.
Tony Moore. In this afternoon's game, Tony Moore was the pitcher. He had a single and a home run and a base on balls and got on an error. He was on base all 4 times. That's a ball inside. He really was keyed up this afternoon. Ball 1. 2 men out. Runner at second base. Virginia leads it 1-0. Virginia at bat in the top of the 4th inning. Game number 15 in the 1985 World Series. There's a high fly ball, and coming in, getting under it, is John Schwartz. Catches it in fair territory for the out. And did you see a little ice cream cone on that one, Brian?
Yeah, he juggled a little bit, but he came down with it.
So in the inning, there were no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 runner left on base. The score at the end of 3.5 innings of play: Virginia 1, Sacramento 0. So it's the center fielder, the catcher, and the right fielder coming up to bat against Ricky Jarvis. And is still warming up pitchers down in the Virginia bullpen. Warming up right now is Ron Coleman Jr., the 6'3", 190-pounder. So they've had 2 or 3 of their pitchers warming up. They're going to have everybody ready to go just in case Ricky Jarvis runs into trouble. The 60th American Legion World Series being played right here in beautiful Highland Park Stadium in Kokomo, Indiana, the city of firsts. So coming out is Mark Chambers, sore arm and all, bee sting on the neck, ready to go. And Mark fires the ball down to second base, a little lob in it, but I have a feeling if he has to throw it, he'll get it there.
Batter, number 21.
Bobby Jones had a 1-1 count on him in the 3rd inning when the runner was thrown out trying to get to third base. So Jones will step in. He can park it. This afternoon, let's just see what Bobby did. As we look him up, there's a called strike. Bobby Jones walked, struck out, singled, and popped up. Strike 1 on Bobby Jones. Look for the curveball. There's a fastball instead, but it was outside, and Ricky Jarvis wanted that one. Come walking off the mound, and now he steps back up on there. Here's a breaking ball right up the middle, off the foot of Ricky Jarvis, it looked like, and that one bounces into the center field, and that's a single for Bobby Jones. So Jones with the single. And that brings up the best hitter on the team, percentage-wise, Mike Mussolino. And Mike had a single the last time up. Ricky Jarvis looking in. Leading off is Jones. Here's the pitch. Called strike 1. He had some heat on that one, Paul. I got you with your mouth full of popcorn. I got you, didn't I?
Don't bother me right now. Yeah, he was. He had a fat. Hey, I think they're going to maybe hit and run here. I think with Mussolini, if he strikes out very few times, and they're going to move him, I think. Here you go.
There he goes. Foul ball.
He offered it.
And it is an 0-2 count on Mussolino now. That ball come crashing back into the fence right behind us, the canvas. And Mark Chambers walking out. Ricky Jarvis says, "Come here, I want to talk to you just a minute." So Ricky tells Mark what he wants to do. Mussolino steps way out and walks back in. So Mussolino can really hit the ball. Here we go. 0-2. And a big breaking ball outside, and it's ball 1. Bobby Jones on first base, a good base runner. A very quick lad for one as tall as he is. Here's the look and the pitch outside, ball 2. The catchers with the movement of the head. Here comes our colleague, Vern Emery. We've got almost a full crew up here now, Vern. What you doing, just goofing off?
just goofing off.
Sure. I think Byrne maybe has had 2 hours sleep since this tournament started on Thursday. There is a ball hit to the second baseman, over to second, and down to first, and he's safe at first base. So he gets the force, 4-6. But on the fielder's choice, Mike Mussolino is on base as Tris Lipscomb fired the ball to Richard Barrett. Barrett to Mark Ronowitz, but they couldn't get there quite in time. And now there is the manager has run out to see if his shortstop's okay, I think, Coach George, as Barrett had a little problem getting up. And I tell you, Coach George was right out there in a hurry. He's been a real good interview each time, a very confident man, and was really kind of happy that his team became the visiting team, because they've won every time they've been the visitor and lost when they were the home team. So Coach George going back to the dugout. Barrett is okay, and on first base is Mike Mussolino, and that brings up John Schwartz. John can also hit the ball and hit it well. In this afternoon's game, John had 1 hit, a single. Breaking ball called strike 1. And Ricky Jarvis breaking that curveball off. He looks in, and there's the curveball. It too goes down to second base. He's going to go to first, and there are 2 away as Schwartz grounds out 4-3. 2 away. Mussolino at second base now.
The next batter, number 12.
That brings up Ned Heights. In the game this afternoon, Heights had a single and a home run. He was 2 for 4. Vern, we got a full house up here tonight. Got the whole crew.
Looks to me like also fan-wise, we got the biggest crowd that they've had the whole series.
Well, we really should have, because this is it. This is the championship. And I heard we were averaging around 1,600 a game, I think, something like that.
That was the statistic that I heard. I don't know if that's official or not, though.
Well, we would have liked to have seen 3,000 a game. We haven't had that, but we also didn't have good promotion out of the city of Indianapolis, very close by. We haven't seen a camera here, and I really chastise the TV stations in Indianapolis for not being here. The count is ball 2 on Ned Heights. That's my personal opinion, not necessarily the opinion of the management and et cetera, right?
I also picked up the newspaper today, a little article in the Star that,
well, a writer from the news, the Indianapolis News, has been here, but I don't think anyone from the Star.
It's hard to understand why you could have something this important, this close, and yet no coverage.
Indianapolis fast becoming the amateur sports capital of the world, and not being here for this. Ball 2, strike 1. Well, I'm off the soapbox now.
They may want something there one of these days.
That's
like this, and
quite possible.
So
national headquarters is in Indianapolis, though, for the American Legion, and I would have thought that well, somebody must have goofed.
That's enough.
Okay, I'm off the soapbox. Here we go. 1-0, Virginia in the lead. At bat, Ned Heights, runner on second, 2 men out. There's a breaking ball outside. The count goes full. Full count. And the umpire let everybody out there know that it was a full count. I could hear him all the way up here. Count is full. Here's a pitch. There is a high fly ball, and Kevin Lee getting under it, saying, "I have it," and catches it for the 3rd out. And Heights on the high fly ball is out number 3. So in the inning, there are no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and there is 1 man left on base.
He just goes with this pitch, Dick. He threw a curveball, and he was expecting a fastball. And when you throw that 3-2 curveball, you got him off balance, and that's exactly why the out was made.
The first batter for Virginia will be the shortstop, Richard Barrett, followed by the second baseman, Tris Lipscomb, and the pitcher, Ricky Jarvis. So Gomez finishes the warm-up pitches. The throw down to second base by Mike Mussolino, taken by Joe Coletto, and we're ready to go. What a beautiful Labor Day evening here in Kokomo, Indiana. Just a fantastic day. We had one rainy day. That was Thursday night. In the 8th inning of the 3rd game, the rain came, and we had a 14-hour and 14-minute rain delay because we didn't start till 9:30 the next morning. Here is a high fly ball, and getting under it, the first baseman, and pulling it down net heights for out number 1. So Barrett pops up to the first baseman, and there is one away. Tris Lipscomb struck out the first time up. Lipscomb has 3 wins in this tournament. Just a fantastic job by him coming in from second base to win those ball games, and he ties the record. But he can't pitch anymore because he's used up his innings. There's a ball low, ball 1. Any of my 3 colleagues here that have anything to say, just let me know. Otherwise, I just keep on blabbering away. Be quiet, Paul. There is a little ball dribbled down to the second baseman, and he's safe, says the first base umpire. As the second baseman got it over there, but diving into the base was Tris Lipscomb, and that's a base hit.
I can't understand why he slid into first base. It's usually faster if you keep on running than it is to dive.
So far, 3 of the Virginia players have slid into first base in this ballgame, Brian, diving for the bag.
I know one thing, it makes the call a lot harder on the umpire because he's used to a regular force out at first base, and then you got this guy diving in there. It makes it a little bit tougher.
Well, we're going to have to, they're going to have to, he skinned his arm going in on that brick dust, so now they're giving Lipscomb a little treatment down there as he skinned his arm up, and the pitcher warms up. Well, a little discussion here. Vern Emery saying back here that he was called out one time by an umpire for sliding into first base. He told you couldn't do it?
That very same, probably not, I'm sure it's not the same bag, but it's the same first base area there. Yeah, he said you can't slide into first. Of course, there's no rule that you can't slide into.
No, you can, but it's really not a wise thing to do. We've seen it done 3 times, though, in this game by Virginia. And as Brian says, probably they get to the bag quicker if they continue running.
I was always taught that.
Well, Gomez on the mound.
Why didn't you ask why did I slide into first then?
Okay, I'm going to ask that question in just a moment. I'm going to let you think about the answer before I ask you that question, though. And there's strike 1 against Ricky Jarvis, the pitcher. Why did you slide into first base then if you were taught not to?
Dick, I really don't know.
Oh, okay. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that. He said, Dick, I really don't know. Okay. Here's the pitch. Well, everybody's getting just a little bit flaky, I think, after 15 ball games up here. All right. The count goes to 1-1 on Ricky Jarvis. Pat Gomez, the left-hander, has someone warming up in the bullpen now for Sacramento, and that's number 9, I believe. I'll let you look that up, Paul. That would be Nielsen. Oh, what a job Nielsen did the other night when Gomez was supposed to start the game and became ill just before the first pitch. Nielsen came in, had enough time to warm up. They let him warm up as much as he wanted to, and came in and pitched a fantastic baseball game. Count 2-1, and now it goes to 3-1. Runner on first is Lipscomb, beating out a dribbler to the second baseman. And Ricky Jarvis, the batter, he flew out to the center fielder on a hard hit ball, or the left fielder on a fantastic catch, if you remember. Derek Gross went back to the fence on it. And here's the throw to first, and the runner back safely. We're in the 5th inning, the top of the 5th, Virginia leading, and they're at bat. Lipscomb at first base, standing on the bag. Now he works his way off of it. Gomez looks and throws. There is a long fly ball. It is curving, foul, and it's out of here. Foul ball. So the count is full, 3-2, as Ricky Jarvis swings a pretty good bat, Paul.
He hit that one deep a while ago. I think he's the one that hit the left field all the way to the track almost.
That's right. That was a deep one back there.
He may be running this time, 3-2 with one out. If Ricky gets the ball in the back good, which I think he does, they may be sending him this time. It's got to come with it.
So Lipscomb, it did not go, and there's a ball hit on the chest of the third baseman. He fires for one, and they fire for two.
He should have ran on that pitch. If he'd have ran on the pitch, he might have been safe at second.
So it's 5-4-3 for the out. And it's 1, 2, 3 in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. One base hit. The score at the end of 4.5 innings of play is Virginia 1, Sacramento nothing. On the mound, warming up and throwing the ball hard, is Ricky Jarvis. Jarvis has done a good job so far, Paul. You mentioned that they were hitting him and getting to him, but when you look, he's just done pretty good.
He has no strikeouts, I don't think.
None at all.
And I just feel like that it's not going to last forever. So I think they think the same thing. They've got two men ready in the bullpen, but I don't know how a team like this can keep hitting the ball without striking out and not score some runs. So I think you just better be ready, because I think they're going to get to him a little bit.
Well, here's Derek Gross coming up to bat, and that's a ball. Derek is a young man that can hit the ball out of the park. Also got the grand slam in last night's ball game, and in this afternoon's game, Derek struck out twice, had a double, and had a double. So 2 doubles for him in this afternoon's ball game. There's a breaking ball. It's a little bit high, so the count is 2 balls and 1 strike on Derek Gross. Jarvis, a fast worker. There's a called strike on the outside corner, and it's 2-2. Gross walks out, looks down at his third base coach. Right behind us is Gaylord Sheeline, the man who's been in charge of this whole affair here in Kokomo, Indiana. We may get lucky and get an interview with Gaylord after the contest. He's done a fine job. There's a ball outside, and it's ball 4. And I believe that is the first walk given up. Yes, it is. The first walk given up by Ricky Jarvis.
He threw 2 breaking balls with 2-2 count and lost him on 2 breaking balls. And I just feel like something's going to happen here. They're going to move the runner somewhere or another, because they got to get tied before they can win it. So I think they may move him.
Joe Coletto had a base hit in this afternoon's game, and he flew out the first time, and he fakes the bunt, misses the ball. The runner was going, and he is in there. He is safe. The ball got away. So Derek Gross running, and the bunt was missed, and he made it anyway.
Yeah, he still may move the runner, because with 1 out and a man on third, it's a better chance. So he may move him still. I'm not sure.
Well, Gross was moving on the pitch, and the bunt was missed. Chambers threw to second base, but not in time, as he was able to slide under the tag. The ball got away, and on second base is Derek Gross, and back up there is Joe Coletto. Let's see if he does bunt this time. Looks to me like he's going to, and he does bunt down the third base line, and that put the third baseman away from the bag. The shortstop went to cover second, and he beat it out. He beat it out. So that is a base hit for Joe Coletto, and now there's a runner at first and a runner at third. There's nobody out.
Still think they'll move the runner and maybe squeeze. I don't know.
Well, we have seen the squeeze by Sacramento about 3 or 4 times. Let's see if Virginia tries it here. I don't know, though. I think, with nobody out, I would try, with Sacramento at bat, we've seen that squeeze 3 or 4 times.
They may double steal.
But Virginia caught him on that thing earlier. That's what I was trying to say. Virginia caught him on that squeeze, and the catcher's going over to talk to the manager in this afternoon's game, didn't let him pull it off. So Going into the dugout is Mark Chambers. They maybe are going to make a change of catchers here. I don't know. Chambers went in the dugout. Brian?
They might want to pull their third baseman in, and that takes the bunt down the third baseline away. Then nothing can really happen unless it's a shot down the line, and you got a left-handed batter in there, so that's probably not going to happen. That's what I'd do.
I'm not too sure, but why Chambers didn't get a different mitt. He went in the dugout. I don't really know. So, at bat is Pat Gomez. And Gomez has been up one time and got a hit. So we've got base on balls and the bunt single, and that's a pitch outside by Ricky Jarvis. Nobody warming up right now. Well, let's see what they do. This afternoon, Virginia on that squeeze bunt caught the runner in the rundown. But Sacramento's done it several times. That was a very close throw at first base as he almost caught the runner off. So Joe Coletto straying off the bag. Ronowitz over there ready to take that throw, made a nice stab at him. And here's Gomez. Here's the pitch. There's a ball right back to the shortstop. He's going to come to the plate, and he got him. He got him. The big play as coming to the plate was Derek Gross, and throwing that ball from short to the plate was Richard Barrett. So that is a 6-2 out. Beautiful play. Going to second base, of course, was the runner, Joe Coletto. So on the fielder's choice, it is Pat Gomez. So there's runners on first and second on the fielder's choice, and a beautiful play by Richard Barrett.
He's really dodged some bullets, I'll tell you.
Yes, sir. Well, Barrett just did the right thing and fired the ball to Mark Chambers. Chambers played it very, very well. Had to go a little bit to the right of the plate and then dive back to the left to block the plate, but he got him coming in. Here's a pitch, swing and a miss by Clyde Keller. Strike one on Keller. His last time up, he did single, struck out the first time. There's a breaking ball inside, and Chambers came out of there, cocked that arm like he was going to throw to second, but he didn't do it. Mark Chambers has forgotten that the arm hurts now. The adrenaline flowing. And there's a fake throw back to second base, and getting back on the bag was Joe Coletto. Gomez at first base as Clyde Keller steps in there. There's a foul ball, and it's 0-2 as he popped that one up against the screen.
1-2.
It is 1-2, you're right.
I was just thinking, Dick, you might have Brian explain. You notice how when the pitcher gets off the mound and fakes towards second, why that isn't a balk compared to the move to first base when that can be a balk.
Okay, good idea. Let's do that right after this pitch. Brian being a baseball umpire and hopes someday. Here's a ball hit down to the shortstop. He fires to third base for the force. And Richard Barrett just has been superb in this period so far, this quarter so far, as he throws to Jim White at third. And the force play goes 6-5, and now there are two out. There are runners now on first and second as Keller gets on the fielder's choice. Okay, Brian, you might explain the move that causes a balk and how when he turns and throws to second is not a balk.
Well, at no time can the pitcher fake a throw to first base. He can fake to second, he can fake to third, and then once he's come off the rubber, then he can go to another base. Like he can fake the second.
In other words, if he fakes to third like we've seen him do and then fakes to first, he can do that. And here's one right back to the pitcher. And here is the throw to Ronowitz, and he got out of it as Dave Hajek is thrown out. Let me give the rundown here, and then we'll finish this conversation. And there are three away in the inning. In the inning, no runs, one hit, no errors, and there was two runners left on base.